Polaroid photograph again taken of Our Lady's Shrine statue. Appearing in the photograph are three forms of punishment, which will be meted out to the world in the coming tribulations and chastisement. First, in the lower left-hand corner in red appear the red flames. Flame from nuclear war, flame from the ball of redemption. In the center of the photograph coming down appears a giant tidal wave, punishment by flood and by water. The right-hand side of the same picture, a giant tire track. Looking closely, you will see the threads of a tire. For military vehicles, tanks, invasion. Again, we are told that wars are a punishment for man's sins. Taken in the early 1970s by Mrs. Mary de Blasio herself from Bayside, New York. And it was a short time after Mrs. de Blasio heard about Our Lady of the Roses Shrine that she took this photograph. At the time, she had doubts in her mind about whether Veronica was actually authentic, or whether Veronica was actually receiving these messages from our Blessed Mother. But what Mrs. de Blasio did, though, she attended a vigil. And being present upon the shrine grounds at a vigil, she said in inward prayer to our Blessed Mother, she said, "Blessed Mother, if Veronica is actually authentic, if you are actually giving these messages through Veronica, just please put a dot of light over the top of Veronica's head in my picture, and this will be enough for me to believe." Mrs. de Blasio then took a photograph, and this is the photograph she received. You see, appearing from above, this golden beam of light descends downward, descends directly onto the top of Veronica's head, just as she inwardly asked her in her prayer. In the same photograph, on the left-hand side, you will see what appears as a curtain, or a veil covering those present in the picture. Now, the term veil is a term that Jesus and Mary used to designate the separation of this life from the afterlife. Each and every one of us must one day die. And when we die, we will have to pass over the veil for judgment. We will all be judged in every thought, word, deed, and action of our lives. Hence, it is very important that we are always prepared for this moment, that we are living in the state of grace, living in the state of God's friendship. And if not, we must act upon this by making use of the sacrament of penance, by making a good confession. Our Lord has told us in His message that there is no sinner who is too much of a sinner to be recovered. Photo taken of the lower section of Our Lady's Shrine statue in the pedestal. You see present the candles, the roses which adorn Our Lady's statue during the vigils. But you note, covering the whole photograph are the rosary bead patterns. The rosary bead patterns miraculously appearing upon the photograph, symbolizing the many rosaries being prayed by the pilgrims during the vigils. For during the whole of the vigil, the people present continuously recite aloud Our Lady's Most Holy Rosary. This amounts to 7 5-decade rosaries recited during each and every vigil. The vigils are vigils of prayer, reparation, and atonement. Taken at the vigil, June 18, 1981, by Mr. Al Urkovich with the Polaroid S670 Polaroid camera. Appearing in this picture is a man wearing a white St. Michael beret upon his head. The man appears to be seated upon a white throne, and a man in the throne appears to be on a stairway ascending to heaven. A little humorous story behind this photograph was taken by a lady from Quebec, Canada at a vigil in 1975. Before taking the photograph, the woman said a little inward prayer to our Blessed Mother. She said, "Blessed Mother, please do not send me any more miraculous photographs with the rosary bead patterns, the squiggly lines. They're just too complicated. I do not understand them. Please send me something plain, solid, and simple to show my friends back home so they will believe." Well, this woman barely got done saying this little prayer. She snapped the photograph, and this is the picture she received. As you can see, heaven heard her little prayer. For appearing in her photograph is a solid white supernatural beam of light from above, descends downward, turns blue upon Veronica, the workers beside her. Very simple and solid in answer to the woman's little prayer. Taken again with a Polaroid camera. Present Our Lady's Shrine statue. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, Also present when the picture was being taken was one of the shrine workers. You'll see him present on the right-hand side of the photograph. He's wearing a white beret. You can also see his glasses present. This is just a point of reference, because what we will do next, we will take the same photograph and turn it upside down. Same photograph upside down. Again, you'll see Our Lady's statue upside down, the same shrine worker upside down. But now clear to see in side profile is the suffering face of Jesus, our Lord, being re-crucified by his own, by the changes that many of the clergy today have wrought in his church. It has caused many to actually leave the church, and many have lost their souls because of this. And it is causing our Lord much suffering in his mystical body, the church. Our Lady, though, in her message, has counseled us that in spite of the turmoil that may exist in our parish churches, Our Lady has asked us all to remain in our parish churches, to remain as examples of tradition and of prayer. This is very important. Our Lord in his message has told us that all baptized Roman Catholics must die baptized Roman Catholics to enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, this is not to be construed as saying only Catholics enter heaven. Our Lord is not saying this at all. What he's saying is what the church has always taught, is that if you're given the grace of the true faith, the Catholic faith, you cannot leave the church, the Catholic Church, join another religion, and expect to be saved. All baptized Roman Catholics must die baptized Roman Catholics if they expect to enter the kingdom of heaven. Taken at the vigil September 7th, 1977 by Mr. John Kuno, a man from Pennsylvania. Appearing miraculously upon his photograph is a witch running upon a broomstick. A little sketch to help you focus better upon it. The witch is symbolic of Our Lady's message. Our Lady has told us that Satan and the forces of 666 will try to replace Christianity with the worship of Satan, the occult. Now, the occult goes under many names and guises: witchcraft, astrology, parapsychology. It's the power and evil behind the voodoo, Ouija boards, tarot cards. It's found today in high schools, college campuses, cities, towns, large and small, throughout our country. Many today are also being deceived or misled by what some are calling good witches or white witchcraft. Our Lady's told us in her message that there's no such thing as a good witch or a white witch. They are all evil. They all get their power from Lucifer, and we are to have nothing at all to do with them. In the lower left-hand corner of the picture now upon your screen, you will see present a worker wearing a white beret upon his head. He was actually present when this picture was being taken. His name is Mr. Vincent McDonald. This is the same shrine worker who in October of 1979 in the Vatican in Rome handed our Holy Father Pope John Paul II the messages from Our Lady of the Roses Shrine. Our Holy Father, upon receiving the Bayside message, said, "I know about it." Mr. McDonald then asked our Holy Father for a blessing for all of Our Lady's workers. Our Holy Father told Vincent, "I bless you, your family, your relatives, and all your friends back home, and I place you all under the protection of our Blessed Mother." The photograph upon your screen was taken within 1 year following this occasion. It was taken of Vincent standing beside the shrine